Welcome to another Tuesday night where we get the chance to explore some of the topics or ideas or concepts that form part of Michelle's formula for success. It's like I'm trying to get my mouth working correctly today because I'm just going to take a deep breath and speak slowly. Welcome to Tuesday night, Michelle's formula for success, and we are going to be exploring the concepts and ideas behind all of the different facets that make up a successful business. Yeah, that was a bit better, wasn't it? That sounded way more professional. So let me just pop up this. And tonight, what we're going to be talking about is creating the business structure that you need. Let me just, yeah. So this is part of our regular weekly catch-ups on a Tuesday night. Just grab a cuppa or a glass of vino, settle in. Maybe you might like to take some notes and find out what ingredients make up Michelle's formula for success. Now, each week we've been exploring a different topic, and if you've missed some of the topics we've talked about in the last few weeks, they're all in my group, Escape the Chaos. So go back and find them and just look for, not sure, Michelle's formula for success, I think, would be the easiest way to do it. And if you search that in the group, that will come up. But my purpose, as I say to you each week, is to help business owners succeed. So for me, the more knowledge and skills that I can share with you, the more opportunity that I have to help and support you. So win-win for both of us. Now, tonight, what we're going to be talking about is how do you actually create more time to work on your business and not just in your business. Now, you might be thinking, how am I going to create time? I'm too busy, but if you bear with me, we will go through some of the steps and ideas about how you can actually start to implement this plan. So I'd like to start off talking about this topic by saying you deserve to be the leader you deserve to be. What does this mean? So the ability to understand your business and plan your structure and operations so that you have the time and the energy to work on your business and not spend all of the time working in your business. Because this is the path to business growth, but in a productive, assured way. And there's many reasons why people like yourselves would like to learn more about this topic. For example, there's an often fatal assumption made that an individual who really understands the work of making the product or providing the service in a business can actually successfully run a business that makes these products or provides these services. So what I mean by that is, think of somebody, and I'm sure you've all seen them on TV on MasterChef, who say, oh, I just love to cook. I can't, my goal is to open my own restaurant. And then they discover that running a successful restaurant is not just about producing delicious food. There's a whole other gamut of things to attend to as well. Another reason is that at the heart of this process is a way of doing business that has the power to actually transform your business from a condition of perhaps chaos or disarray to a condition of order, excitement, and continuous growth. And another reason that you might want to learn about this is that your business and your life are two separate things. Your business is something apart from you with its own rules and its own purposes. And it is an entity that will live or die according to how well it performs its sole function. And that sole function is to find and keep customers. So let me tell you a story about an event I went to a couple of years back now when I was grappling with these concepts and I didn't have a clear idea of how to plan for my growth. The event was on Zoom, pretty similar to this, but with lots more people. I'm liking to think there was around 300, which was pretty impressive. Now, the information and the ideas were great. And when the presenter started talking about a 12-month program to work on this, I was all in until I heard the price. It was in the higher 5-figure range, and I almost tuned out because there was a voice in my head saying, there is no way that you should pay that sort of money. But then I actually analysed the potential returns if I did, and also if I did the work to fast forward both my personal development and my business skills. So in the end, the decision itself became an actual no-brainer. And now when I look back, I'm actually truly grateful because if I hadn't made the decision to enroll and the commitment to take action, then I firmly believe that I would still be stuck back where I was then. So what about for yourself? Do you ever think about the fact that today is the youngest you will ever be in your life, and now is the best time to make a change? So this is what kicked in for me on that day. And I decided to invest in myself and to take things to the next level. And if I'd waited, nothing in my life would have changed. Time would have passed, but I would still be the same person I was back then. So that's just a little bit of a digression there, but I think it's important to recognize that sometimes you get to that pivot point where you know you need to change, but you're not sure exactly how to, and you hesitate, particularly if it's a large financial investment, because there's part of you that's scared that you're not going to get a return on your investment, or what if this doesn't work out for me? Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So just exactly what is a small business? Well, the ABS, which is the Australian Bureau of Statistics, define a small business as a business employing fewer than 20 people. And for most of the people in my network, that probably covers you. And this is probably going to quite surprise you, but I found this survey that was done by Zero and Lonergan Research in 2020, so not that long ago. They found that small business owners actually lose, on average, 19.8 hours a week, or a massive 43 days each year, which has been redirected from other priorities in their personal lives and spent working in their business. This comprises of time that would be otherwise be spent with family, socializing, on hobbies, sleeping, on health, relaxing, odd jobs, chores, etc. Now, I'm not saying that at the start of the business, when you start trying to build your business, that you should only be working like really limited hours. But what I am saying is that be aware of these statistics and don't let that sort of thing completely take over everything to the exclusion of all the other important things in your life. And uh, business failure is not really something that we want to think about, especially at the start. It's like, I guess, when you get engaged and get married, you don't actually want to be thinking about divorce. But according to statistics published in 2019 by the Small Business Administration here in Australia, about 20% of business startups fail in the first year, and about half actually succumb to failure within 5 years. And by year 10, there's only about 33% survive. And I think it's important to say that if, as a business owner, you don't recognize what you don't do well and actually get some help in those areas, then unfortunately, your business is probably not going to be in one of that 33% that do survive. So, how does this concept of being the leader you want to be work? So, let me just walk you through 5 key steps. And step 1 is innovation. Now, innovation continually poses the question, what is standing in the way of my customer getting what he or she wants from my business? So to answer that sort of question, profile your customer's perceived need and unconscious expectation. So what is their pain point and how will your product or service address this? Analyze your sales process. Is it as simple and easy as possible for your customers to do business with you? When they get to your website, is it really simple? Is it straightforward? Or do all the buttons work? Are there any broken links? So these are sort of things that you need to do to make sure everything is working, but also to simplify it and make sure that everything is as straightforward as possible. The other thing that comes under innovation is to be constantly asking yourself, what is the best way to do this? So knowing that, like, you're never going to have a perfect process, but if you never ask yourself a question like that and keep trying to make changes and iterations in how you do things, you're never going to improve. But if you keep doing this, as I said, don't expect perfection, but every time you ask yourself that question and you make a change for the better, you're improving on the current process. So it's a process that's better than the one that you had before. I hope that all makes sense. So what's step number 2? Step number 2 is understand your numbers. These are the numbers that relate to the impact of any change or innovation that you make. But before you can look at what the impact of a change is, you need to understand where you are at that right now. So what I mean by that is quantify everything related to how you do your business. How many customers or clients do you see each day? How many in the morning? How many in the afternoon? How many people contact your business each day? How many interactions you receive on social media, by platform? How many products do you sell in a day or a week? These are just some of the examples of the type of questions you can ask yourself about your numbers, but you can never ask yourself too many questions. And then what you'll be able to do is use the flow of these numbers to actually look at the health of your business and to look at what are the statistics or what are the numbers that are critical for your business and which ones are not. So then you use the critical numbers to understand where you are right now, so that when you introduce any change, you can actually measure the impact of the change that has been introduced. And this is really important, because if you keep making changes, but you're not measuring what the impact is on your business, then you could be making all these changes, but there's no improvements or no changes, or nothing's actually improving. Anyway, step number 3 is systemize. So without systems, nothing really gets planned, and it's really hard to be proactive rather than reactive. And the other thing is that without systems, what you might find is that if you're doing something one way, let's talk about, say, how a customer order gets processed or an onboarding process happens if you've got a coaching business. So if you're doing it one way, but then you have a team member who does it differently, rather than creating order, you're actually creating confusion, and it creates confusion in your customer's mind because they don't know what to expect each time they interact with you. So once you systemize a process, the impact on the business is that it actually eliminates that discretion or the choice at the operating level of your business. And each time a function is performed, it's done exactly the same way. And as I mentioned, by doing this gives predictability to your customer, because they know that every single time they interact with you, they know what the experience is going to be like. And customers vote with their feet. So if they're not sure what they're going to get every time, they'll often go someplace else. And if you look at it from a simplistic point of view, systemization is as simple as doing what you do, saying what you say, looking how you look for as long as it works and produces the results that you want. And if it doesn't work any longer, then change it. I mean, these things that I'm talking about here are not static. The world is dynamic, and your business needs to be dynamic as well. You can't just write a system once and then go, oh, hey, we've done this will do. And you continue using the same system for the next 5 years, even though technology's moved on. Anyway, what is step number 4 is your organizational strategy. So this is where we start to look at your organizational chart. Now, for many people, particularly those in small business or solopreneur, they don't think they need an organizational chart. But let me tell you, this is one of the critical things to actually have the right structure for your business moving forward. So based on your big, hairy, audacious goal or your mission that you've created for your business, and underneath your mission, like let's say, for example, your mission is to be number 1 in Queensland in your particular industry, and underpinning that you have my business will be turning over $10 million revenue per year with an EBIT of 35%, those sort of numbers. Now, if that's where you're heading, you actually need to work out a structure for a business that will run efficiently and grow and get you to those sort of goals but have all the positions worked out in advance. I hope I'm making sense with all that. So you just essentially, I don't know, every business will be different, but you'll have somebody in charge, and then you'll have maybe marketing, sales, operations, finance, admin, legal, etc. So underneath that, you then like what roles will be needed in those particular areas when you get to your BHAG. So you might end up with an org chart that has, I don't know, 15 boxes or 15 roles on it, which will support your business when it gets to 10 million. But right now, your name could be in every box, or you could already be outsourcing your accounting or bookkeeping or legal. They're usually the first ones. And then what you need to do is actually have a position description for each role. So this will evolve and change as your business changes and grows, and as I said, with changes in technology, etc. But you need to be really clear about what you want each of those roles to do. And then when you come to fill those roles, you will have a clear idea of who you're looking for to take over that function rather than you doing it yourself. And I'm not talking about every single box has to be like a full-time employee. Some of these might be outsourced contractors or anything like that. But it is really important to have a clear idea of this is where I'm going, and this is the business structure that I will need when I get there to support what I want. Now, step 5 is becoming the leader. So now that you've created your organizational chart, your goal then becomes replacing your name in each of the boxes where you either don't have the necessary skills to become the best at that role, or it's just something that you simply hate doing and you don't want to do. Most likely, there'll still always be parts of your business that you'll want to continue to do. For example, if marketing is what really lights you up, then you will remain in that area. Now, this is not something that's going to happen overnight either. It's a stepwise process. And if you work through the steps of replacing yourself in those roles that A, you're not very good at, or B, you really don't want to do, once you've clawed back that time, that's the time that you now use to work on your business and not in your business. So by working through this process, what we've actually done is to help create that time for you to work on your business. So again, what if? One of the questions that I get asked all the time is, well, what if I'm in startup phase of my business and I actually don't have the cash to outsource anything yet? So as I mentioned before, it's a planned stepwise process. So to begin with, work out how much it would cost to outsource, say, 5 hours of support a week. This might be in admin, or it might be in IT, or it might be in social media. But let's, for argument's sake, say you're looking to outsource some admin, and depending where you look, let's say you can get VA support for $20 an hour. So for the next 6 weeks, what you're looking to do is try and increase your cash flow to cover this amount. Why 6 weeks? Well, if you can sustain this increase, it means that you can afford to pay somebody 5 hours at $20 an hour to do those repetitive, non-income producing activities. And you've actually then freed up 5 hours of your time, which is way more valuable. So say if you charge out your time at $150 an hour, then you've actually given yourself the opportunity to bring in a gross increase of $650 per week. Pretty good, hey? Now, what if I have a team, but I can't see how I could get them to follow a systemized process? The simple answer here is involve them. Make them a part of the process right from the beginning, because people who are invested in a process are much more likely to champion and support it. You know, if you have a team already, this is not something I would suggest that you just do in isolation and present to them. I would get them involved right from the very start in terms of working through the innovation, creating the systems, and even reviewing the way you write the job role descriptions and things like that. And what if I'm not sure how to work out the stepwise process and which positions to target changing first? Well, as I mentioned before, the first thing you need to do is understand where you are right now. Create a list of every task and every role that is now being done in your business. And if you're a solopreneur, your name is going to be beside pretty much all of these things. But beside each role, put down how many hours a week are needed for each. Then rate each entry on both the skill level, your skill level, and your level of interest and enthusiasm. So something that you hate and you're not very good at would be very high on the list to be replaced first. Then you work out, as I said before, how much revenue you need to generate each week to cover outsourcing that component. Find a way to increase your revenue by this amount every week for at least 6 to 8 weeks to ensure that it's sustainable, and then look for somebody to replace those hours for you. So thank you for listening to that. And what I also just wanted to mention is that the key part of my Foundations of Success program is working with you to establish your purpose, mission, and values, and then showing you how to set up your organizational structure now that will support your business and the goals that you want to achieve in the future. For example, you might simply want to focus on the creative side of your business in the future, or the provision of services, and have everything else done by your talent. Or you may be aiming to have a business under management in the future so that you can either sell it as an entity, or it becomes an income source for you so you can then go off and do whatever you choose to do in the future. So thank you for listening to me. And if any of this sounds like something that you would like to have a chat with me about, or you feel like you could do with some support, the way I can help you best is if you come and have a complimentary 30-minute business health check with me, and we will work through and look at What is the key issue that we need to attack straight away? And we'll come up with a strategy to suit you and a process to get you started. So comment below this video, business health check, and I'll send you the link to book in. But thank you once again for joining me on my Tuesday night, Michelle's Formula for Success. And until we talk again, what I'd like you to remember is that you have everything you already need within you. You just need to find it. Thanks so much, and we will talk soon. Bye.